ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another round of ORL. And we are at the circuit of the Americas, and we're looking for an interesting race today. Of course, your host today, Matthew, and unfortunately, Jacob couldn't make it here today. He is the He's currently commentating the A split together with Milky, so we got two commentators over there to commentate over all the action happening there. But we are of course concentrating on the action here, and we have 20 drivers on the list today, reaching from top names we've seen a lot, but also I think some new guys from maybe last time, and especially Get Owned, and I hope, yes, Daniel Valley, the two championship contestants are still in the game, and Lucho too. He's also at the moment fighting for the championship together with Get Owned and Daniel Valley. Those three are within 11 points, so basically there's still anything to happen. Still anyone can win this championship, but it will be most likely decided between those three, because Zones would have, in theory, a chance because he's 50 points away from Daniel Valley. But that's just theory. Zones isn't even competing today, so therefore he won't really have a chance, because this is the second to last race in this season. And we are just switching into the game so that we can maybe see some action out on track. It's looking not really good out there at the moment, I have to say. The weather is a bit overcast, a lot of clouds, there's not much sun coming through, so the track temperature shouldn't be that high, which is of course not the optimal for qualifying, because you don't want an overheated track, of course, but you want a warm track for your tires to have the best grip possible, and then of course it's easier also to warm up your tires. And speaking about Lucho before, who's championship contestant, of course, we're going here on the first lap of the American circuit through this first real twisty sector. Very easy to invalidate your lap here. We'll see a lot of these invalidations today in the qualifying, but so far I think a purple sector 1, of course, because it's setting one of the first laps at all. Then through this about 90-degree left-hander, and another left-hander onto one of the two main straights with DRS, bombing down into kind of a hairpin, and then getting into the more tricky section of the circuit. Of course, cutting there as much as possible, taking as much curve as even possible. Now a little bit of a long right-hander, and now this one's a bit hard to brake for, because you have to brake under steering. It's a common technique actually, but it's always pretty hard if you got a little kink in front of the normal corner, and this is one of the corners that will be really hard for most of the drivers. The second to last corner on the circuit is really not the easiest one, and that's not because it's, well, something really difficult or strange, but it is because you can invalidate your lap that easy on the right hand side of the track by going out too wide and exceeding the track limits. And I don't think the game has yet the real penalty system for that. I think the penalty system still ignores that cutting. I don't know why they didn't implement that, but well, it is what it is. But for sure, if someone sees anyone cutting the corner there, or not cutting, but going wide on the exit there. You can really gain speed from that, and they will most likely get a penalty later on in the race. And the first of the guys are through. We are in the 1:29 times, and we will most likely even slot into the 1:28s, at least if the track conditions make this possible, because well, it's not the best weather. Of course, it's at least dry, so that's good for hot lapping, but you won't actually want a clear sky, a really dry track, and a really warm track. And Black Panther, for example, already invalidated his lap here in the first few twisty corner. Oh no, I think he had already set a lap, and now did another lap, another in lap, and it's not much important. But oh yes, exactly. I just wanted to switch on Patrick Cypress, who's just setting the second place time, a 1:29.7, who will be hopefully also championship contester, a little bit wider from Bina. Not a championship contester, but a contester for the win, because he joined us so late. But he is a very quick driver, and there will be for sure some nice battles with Get Owned and the rest of the team up there, Lucho, Pitchco, maybe Julian. Then of course Daniel Valle, who currently hasn't yet set a lap. Then maybe we'll be seeing Top Tom out there. So we have actually a lot of guys who we've seen on the podium and who've had great, who've done great so far. But we're of course into the second to last race, and therefore not much is possible in the championship yet. We have still 3 people who can possibly win. So unlike in real life one, oh, and there goes Bina with a 1:29.6, so also very quick time, a good starting position for him. But we are not done yet with the qualifying, and as I said, of course a high 1:28 will actually be your goal. I mean, if you could even faster, it would be even better, but that's about the mark you can set yourself, your goal to achieve. And maybe we can take a look at Top Tom bombing down the start-finish straight and entering the first sector, which is really quite challenging, not especially because of the tricky corners, but because of not corner cutting, even though you're hot lapping. It's not much braking, it's just some bit downshifting into this last turn of this sector, and then that's it. But it's just about corner cutting, and of course the first turn is big braking zone from the straight. And entering now turn number 11. Actually, a lot of turns. Well, not a lot, but 20 turns. Turns is not there are not much tracks into the 20 or more turns there. And Top Tom is currently aiming for a really good lap. 2 purple sectors so far. Just needs to nail this last sector here, and going through this really long right-hander, which actually makes a lot fun to drive because it's just flat out going to the right. And with Formula 1 cars, that's really amazing. Just seen, he was exactly on the line, so this time was exactly okay, valid, and setting just a 1:29.7, even though having 2 purple sectors. So that looks, well, he needs to put a bit of work into this last sector. But of course, these braking zones are a bit more tricky because of most of them are most of the corners have a bit of a well, kink beforehand, and there's a lot of cutting going on to get up back to the pits as fast as possible. And we can sit on board now with Till for a lap, while of course Lucho is also out for a lap. Daniel Valle is out for a lap. Maybe let's watch him. He's the current championship leader and has not yet set a timed lap, a valid lap. I don't think he has set any lap, but I'm not sure about that. And with just 8 minutes remaining, that really needs to come in here. And it's currently not looking that good, because second sector isn't purple, so no fastest time yet. Of course, it still can be a very quick time if he's just a few thousandths of a second below the sector times of the other drivers. Nuggets Rainbow 129.4, beautiful, and Daniel Valle just passing the line in 8th within 129.9, so not a really quick time. Gedon improves a bit on his own time, 129.3 now, 100 gained. And the rest of the guys are kind of staying the same. McLaren as a team together up in 2nd and 3rd, not next to each other unfortunately. Julian currently in 4th. Still on the provisional pole. Let's see if he can take back the championship and well, secure the win for him. But I think to do that, he needs to show up to the next race in Abu Dhabi. I'm actually not sure at the moment if this race will be next Sunday, because that's just, well, nearly 1 to 3 days after Christmas or something. Or if it will be a week later or something. I'd have to ask the admins about that, but we can get to that later on. We're slowly going into the end phase of qualifying. With who can we still watch? Bina is again now out for a hot lap. Was setting himself into 2nd place before. Let's see what he can do now, if he can improve on his own time or not. There's not really much room for error, as we can see there. Still the and actually HYPERX set a new fastest time. We know him for getting those incredible quick times in qualifying and also being extremely fast in the race. I think it's just a bit about consistency that it's missing him, but I think, well, not even that, but I think he was just not lucky the last 2 races, because he always had incidents where he crashed into somebody else, and that's a thing you shouldn't do, go that wide. That's not the proper way, but that's what cost him the points the last few races, where he lost out, and now he sets a exact 129. So 0.000, so at least it's on the millisecond exact. And there he leaves the session. Yeah, just game bug or something, probably game crash, or something else. See, and somebody else just joined, I think. And I'm not sure. I think he's just joined as a spectator, but more about we'll see what happens. Top Tom is just going on to a new hot lap, as well as was Polyakov. I think he just Top Tom going purple sector too, but he did this before and then couldn't just get it right into the last sector. And before him we see a Mercedes and an AlphaTauri, which is probably Polyakov or Bina, or 2 AlphaTauris out on track, so I don't even know who's who, but we'll see. The AlphaTauri is coming into the pits, and that was Bina, and Top Tom is only getting 2nd, but still faster than Gedoned and all the other first minute quick times from all the other guys who set the fastest times a lot earlier. Yeah, a lot of cutting going on there. It isn't really the nice way and doesn't really look good, but well, it's just qualifying and therefore it's not that bad. I mean, most of the guys, I'm not sure about Top Tom, but I think the rest of the guys have already used their third tire, and therefore they don't really have much time to, or not much time, but they don't have another tire to go for another hot lap. But the thing is, I don't think Top Tom will be able to do another lap even if he had another tire. Because if he goes into the pits now, there will be like, I don't know, 1.5 minutes left exactly, and that's what a hot lap time is, and therefore he won't be able to do that anymore. But we've got Till out there, we've got a lot of guys on the outlaps again into the last minutes of a qualifying, trying to get again the quickest times of the session, and to secure yourself some of the top spots possible. And Jules just overtaking some Force India there. No, not Force India. Why I'm retro style back into the old times. Of course, the Racing Point, which is next year again getting another name, but then also another color. So therefore, I don't think this will be such a problem anymore. You can kind of tell the difference between green and pink, and tell that they are Aston Martin and not Racing Point or Force India anymore. Top Tom retired from the session. It looks like a crash. No, I don't think so. He's retired in the pits. The rest of the guys are all out on hot laps. Maybe we'll take a look on Vexer just setting a purple sector 2. A lot of purple sector 2s, I have to say. Everybody improving for a bit, I think. Now he just needs to nail that sector 2. Yeah, I think it's sector 2 now. Now he just needs to nail that sector 3. And Top Tom wasn't really able to do that every time. And there we go. Then we see the invalidation, and I think sometimes the game has fixed it, sometimes it's still a bit broken. But there we saw you can invalidate your lap there very quickly, and this time it's good and correct that the game makes this. Else you always need somebody to especially watch out, or the drivers to watch after each other, to not cut that corner. And now we're going for a lap of a Rainbow, while his team colleague just set a lap time. A Rainbow just invalidated his lap, so never mind. Seen all of the guys. Lucha retired. We've seen a lot of Daniel Valley, but why not again? Bombing down, first straight, first corner, heartbreaking zone, but then and Lucha actually really crashed. And then into sector 1, into the the quick section of the circuit. It makes it really fun to drive, but it's really hard to master in the hot lapping, because it's just a few degrees that decide from whether you invalidate your lap or you went way too slow through the corner. And yeah, after that twisty section, we go into a kind of hairpin onto the main straight, quite a long straight, the longer one of the two with DRS, of course, which Daniel Valle enabled, I hope, because the game wasn't showing me so, but I think he did, probably just some spectator bugs. Into the end of turn sector 2 with two 180 degree, or actually three 180 degree turns. And Daniel Valle just aborted his lap, obviously. Oh, I think. Was I always commentating about somebody or who had already ended the session? Well, genius move from me, but never mind. We have only one driver left on track, which is Philippe Nunes, and he is currently heading back into the pits, probably retiring as soon as possible to just escape the long getting into the pit scene. Exactly. And there we go, end of qualifying. Patrick Cypers sitting on pole position for the American Grand Prix, or the Grand Prix of the United States of America. 2.5 tenths ahead of the second get owned. Then we've got Top Tom and Bina in second row, Rainbow and Pitchka on 5 and 6, Vexed on Julian on 7 and 8. Then Lucho and Polyakov at 9/10. Till and Daniel Valle sharing starting row 6. Think Dyslexic and Philip Nunes on row 7. Oxygen and Dave on 15 and 16. Mighty Dylan, Black Panther on 17 and 18. And to round out the group, we have Complacency and Kotamic. Did I read that correctly? Could I remember the name correctly? I think I read it, but I'm not sure. Oh, and a wet race. So there we've got the reason why the cars weren't trimmed to top pace and why we've not seen the sub 128 times. The cars were already trimmed for a wet race, already with some higher wing settings. To generate just more downforce, to have more grip in the rainy sessions, and well, therefore there's not much need to talk about strategy here, because well, everyone's obviously going for the intermediates. I think that's what the rain's looking like. It's not really looking like much rain. I could be wrong because the game is there sometimes a bit strange, but we're not seeing the drivers yet, so we don't know which tire they're choosing. I assume the Inters, as you can guess. But yeah, here we go, intermediate tires. And then we'll have to see, because we don't know if there will be a transition from wet to dry, which will of course make the race way more interesting than without a transition. But at the moment, we don't know really much about that. We're just seeing the drivers getting their tires warmed up. We see two different strategies for a full wet race, either a 2 or 3 sub onto the intermediates. Depends on how good you can manage your tires here. Of course, the laps are really especially set up for doing a 2 stop, because you can actually stop at exactly 14 laps, and therefore well, having for each half of the race a set of intermediate tires. And well, yeah, that would be something to look for, but the thing is, though, we're not sure if the rain will continue until the end of the session. So we'll need to look out when the rain starts to stop or starts to get harder. So they need to get on a full wet tire, and that will basically the difference in this race. I mean, the other difference, of course, tire management and getting along with a rainy session, because we don't have much information on who's better in the rain and who's not, but we will see who can make the most out of it. And yeah, as we speak, the drivers are just lining up on the grid, reforming. And then in a few seconds we are ready to go for the American Grand Prix, round number 21 of 22 this year, and well, looking forward to season finale next week, of course. But now we're sitting here waiting for the last two people. It's for a racing point there, coming from 12th or 13th. I think we can see the grids placed just on the end of the screen exactly, and there we go. Should be everything lined up now in theory. Game. We're already on lap 2 as the lap counter shows us, and I think that probably needs a rehost. Not sure about that at the moment. But so far nothing's really happening. Car, that one car bugs a bit around. The AlphaTauri of the Alfa Romeo of Lucho. But I'm not sure if it's his fault. But there is not much going on. If the lights aren't going on or off. And I'm not sure at the moment what we're going to do. But we're looking for a restart, I guess. Yes, looks like it. So I'll bring you back into this screen right here, and we're just gonna wait for another few minutes to see where the session will be rehosted, and I'm not sure how long this is gonna take, but I think it'll need a few seconds to set up because we already have the grid formed up. But the problem is, oh, not even my game crashed. Beautiful. Well, why not? So, just restarting the game, and then we'll see if we should get an invite from Black Panther again to do a rehost of the session, and then we'll be hopefully able to set everything up. And well, it wouldn't be F1 2020, or it wouldn't be F1 in general if we weren't for the problems. If it weren't for the bugs and stuff. I didn't even knew about that. The session can sometimes just well, screw itself. But obviously that's somehow still possible. And we are going to wait for some invites, but it'll take, of course, a bit of time to get the game up and running again for everyone, and of course to get the lobby back into the right place again. And I mean, at the moment it's not really anyone's fault, well, except Codemasters maybe, because system isn't really working. So we're just sitting here waiting for a restart. I mean, we've seen a quite interesting qualifying with HYPERX, who wanted to start on pole, but the game decided to, well, didn't start the start sequence, and well, we were just hanging there, waiting for the lights to come on and go out again to start the race, but unfortunately the game didn't let us, so we needed to escape the session somehow, Alt F4, or just letting the game crash on its own. And well, then we need to see how this will turn out. So we can just enjoy our stay a bit. Well, get yourself, I don't know, a drink, something to eat. Get a quick look to the bathroom so you can enjoy the action later on without needing to interrupt it. And we'll hopefully be back in a second, but I can't promise you when the lobby's set up. It'll take a bit of time, of course, because Black Panther needs to type in the grid again, and therefore it'll take a bit of time. And well, in the meantime, there's not really much to say, but I can try to maybe reconnect to Black Panther if you already opened up a lobby. Yes, exactly. There we go. So the lobby should be back up. Yes, we are already again 17 drivers of the original 20. So just a second. Of course, not starting over again from qualifying. We have qualifying already done. They will most likely do another formation lap and then start into the race. After just a quick break, switching, and I mean today unfortunately just a bit of problems. The other streamers, a bit of bitrate problems, a bit of problems with lag, and we've got the lobby problems with the game, so everything is somehow not set the right way. Everything just doesn't want us to race today. But therefore, we will hopefully be able to join into a nice race again. I don't know if it's gonna be raining again. The weather is set again to dynamic, so it could be anything. Of course, the drivers have no free tire choice. Every driver has free tire choice. Every driver has free setup choice. So if it's not raining, the drivers can aim for a dry setup again. But we don't know yet, because as I said, weather is on dynamic, so could rain. It could even rain more heavily than it did. or it doesn't rain at all. We get a clear sky, as we wanted it in qualifying, but didn't get it. And well, there we are, just waiting. Being left on the waiting list for a little while. For a little while now. Hopefully not really much longer, because this is really going to take, or it's really already taking a lot of time, which is not really nice, of course, but at the moment we can't really do anything about it. We're still at 17, 18 drivers now in the lobby, so still 2 missing. Still 2 you can't find the lobby. I don't know, maybe they needed to restart the PC or something. We'll need to take a look into that later on, because now it is not there's not really time for that. We'll just need to wait. For everyone to join in again. I think we won't be a full grid again. Yeah. 2 people won't make it, unfortunately, so we're gonna go with 18, but we're finally getting back to the grid. The drivers are readying up, and if everyone gets the message, and select themselves as ready, then we will be about to go finally into the race. Hopefully it's working this time. Another restart would be a real hell for everyone. There we go. Session starting. We'll need another about 30 seconds at least to get into the track, get everything loaded up. And as soon as everything has been loaded, we of course will rejoin the game, because that's what we're of course here for. We actually want to see some racing, and we're finally about to get some of it. And hopefully this time the lobby works. We don't want to see another stopping before the not working lights again. And yeah, at least it seems to work at the moment, so no problems yet. I don't know if Black Panther set this session to rainy again, but as you can see, we're in the rain again. So, well, setups might be a bit different, because there is no qualifying anymore, so you can go instantly for a bit higher grip. You don't have to make a good setup for dry qualifying and the wet race. You can just go for the wet race qualifying, not for the wet race qualifying, yeah, exactly, for the wet race setup. And as the driver's rating up. Pretty fast, of course, selected as strategies. There's not much to think about. Well, we're starting on the intermediates and then see what happens. So, yeah, this is that. And there we, of course, see HYPERX starting from the top spot again. Top Tom in second place, Gedo and Bina in row number 2. Rainbow and Pitchco in 5 and 6, and 7th Vexit and Julian in 8th. Lucho on 9th position and Polyakov making half of the grid. In row number 6 we have Till and Daniel Valle. And in 13 is Sync Dyslexic and Oxygen in 14th. Dave Gaming and Mighty Dylan in 15th and 16th. A bit of a stupid pit stop strategy prediction, but okay. And rounding up the grid, we have Black Panther and Complacency in 17th and 18th. Row number 9. And there we go, round the circuit again. Oh. Does my stream lag? No, it doesn't. It was just YouTube not loading. There we go, entering sector number 3. Preparing now, finally, for the American Grand Prix, for the second to last race this season, the last opportunity to save yourself the championship. Well, not for everyone, but for Daniel Valle, Gedoned, and Lucho, who are all of them not in the greatest starting positions. Gedoned just in 3rd. Well, Justice, seems kind of bad, but 3rd is a good starting position, especially if we're looking at Lucho on 9th and Daniel Valle 12th. There could be better positions to start in fighting for the championship, so Gedoned seems most likely to get the most points out of this race, but we will see what happens in the rain. There is still a lot of possibilities. There will be most likely more mistakes, and well, it will change up a lot of things. But we're now lining up for the American Grand Prix, the second time this evening, and hopefully this time the game will work. And there we go, we're going into the race start. 4 lights, 5 lights. And there we go, the lights are out, the cars are going, and we see it was a good start from Top Tom, already taking the lead of the Grand Prix, going down the inside of the first turn, having HYPERX already overtaken, but also at the back. Oh, there's a massive crash between the McLaren of Vexit and Mighty Dylan, I think, or was it a AlphaTauri of Polyakov? But we can see at the front it kind of settled down itself. There at the back is still a lot of fights, especially the Haas of Polyakov and the Haas of Complacency and Polyakov still battling. But through those fast kings, there's not much really room for fighting. Just two Red Bulls had just a bit of a fight, but Dave is still in front. Black Panther still tries to battle with Polyakov, but Polyakov is just a bit quicker because he lost a lot places, 6 places from the crash with Vexit, I think, or not crash. I don't know if his front wing is affected, but there were quite scenes there. And we've got the Dyslexic here against the Haas of Julian, and can he make the move stick through turn number 12? No, not yet. Julian is still fighting back, and both of the guys want this position, especially in the rain. Those turns are really hard. Going around here, and maybe into the next turn, Dyslexic can make it stick. But it doesn't look like it, especially in the rain. This fast right-hander, it's really tricky, but, well, it does look like it indeed. He made it in front, but can he hold it? Because Julian was already nearly beside him, and of course we'll try to go for it again. But he will also get some... Oh, he's that McLaren behind him. Is that Vexed? I think that is Vexed who dropped back somehow. I'm not sure. But the telemetry is bugging again. And well, that's the battle so far. There they go. There they go. There go the standings. Not seeing a thing anymore. And there we have blue flag. For who do we got a blue flag now? There's no one to lap. We're only in lap number 2, not 3. Game is, I think, also counting wrong again. And then we see a bit of switch between Till and Oxygen, and of course also Julian wants to get his place back against Dyslexic. Sounds weird to say, I always say Dyslexic. It sounds like I'm insulting him. And there he goes deep down into the turn, but can't really make it stick because the way around the outside is just way quicker, and therefore Dyslexic still stays in front. At the top, we at the moment don't really have a lot battles going on, but the thing is, telemetry is not helping me out this time. Now here we go into even maybe a 4-wide battle. And the 2 guys in front now clear the data, but Oxygen and Polyakov are still going for it, and it looks like, yes, Polyakov made the better exit out of the last turn, number 20. And heading down into number 1, Black Panther is again having a look on Oxygen, and, well, looks like kind of a neat move, made it past, and made it stick. Black Panther now up into 16th. Quite an intense first 2.5 laps, and now the lap count is correct because we're now on lap 3. I don't know how you can mess up something that wrong, that it's wrong and then it's right, because it's not counting. Well, how does this work? Like, how can you count wrong from the beginning on, but then later on lap 3 you just don't count it, you just don't count the lap, and the lap counter just stays the same? How? Ah, well, it's Codemasters. So we got a bit of a difference, a bit of a gap between most of the guys. Patrick, HYPERX, and Top Tom, the leading group, making themselves a bit of room. Already 1.5 seconds gap to get owned. But you know, also over a second. So even with duress, it couldn't even have really a chance, and we see a massive moment of Dylan there, nearly losing the back completely. And the first pit stop, blue. That's Red Bull of Black Panther heading into the pits, going home probably for another set of intermediate tires. Exactly. I don't think we need to. Oh, Complacency retired, but in the pits. All right. I thought we might see some safety car. That would be interesting. Mix up things a lot again, because as you can see, there's quite a big gap between Dave and Mighty Dylan. There are big gaps to the leaders. Well, Pitchko has 2.6 second gaps. Gedon has 1.6 second gaps. 1.6 second gap. Oh my god. Pronouncing is not my strength side today. And well, at the moment there's nothing really to talk about in terms of battles, because there's not much going on. But Black Panther just retired on track. I'm sure, but that looks like a safety car to me. The game isn't showing me, like, where's the safety car notification on the top left? I mean, I noticed the track map being yellow, but where is the safety car? We have, I mean, the safety car's on track now, as you can see, but we have our first drive-through penalty for speeding. I always think about, I always say like, well, how can you speed on the safety car? But sometimes it's just, you don't really realize, you're just focused on racing your opponents, and then all of a sudden, it's written safety car, and you just don't notice that for 5 seconds, and you're in the red delta. So you need to break down a lot. You basically need to stand still to get that delta up in time. And Vexed now retired too. A lot of retirements now. Looks like the guys don't want to race. But Vexed also had this early incident with Polyakov, I think. So that might be a reason. But we've got a few pit stops now. Still everyone out in the intermediate, so they don't know much more than we do. Well, they do, but it's, I think, at least about 10 laps more rain. Or not specifically 10, but I think it should be another 5 laps at least. Could be more, of course. Could be still the whole race. We don't know. Just because they're not changing now doesn't mean it couldn't be the whole race. I mean, you can also now say, oh, let's try to do a 2-stop. There is still a pretty high possibility for another safety car, and well, maybe stopping 2 times on a safety car is about the duration of one normal pit stop, and well, you've got much better tires for the duration between. So even though it's maybe costing a bit more time, it's still fairly enough to just make good with your new set of tires. And there we go for round number 2 on behind the safety car. And there's another pit stop of Lucho also heading in. But it is still raining, as we can see here. And I mean, I don't know if that was the best decision for Lucho to go for, because of course you get now a kind of free pit stop on the safety car, because it's just not costing you that much time, but he do drop back the whole grid. So he needs to overtake all of the guys again to get his position back. And that won't be really an easy job. And well, I don't know, or maybe he's just pitting because the tires will exactly last as long as the rain should go on, and then maybe the rain should stop. Or will stop at about that point in time. And well, we'll see. Well, we don't know now what will happen, and we as the commentators and spectators, of course, we don't really get to see whether it'll rain or whether it'll be dry, but we see that the safety car is coming in this lap, and therefore we'll see a restart, this time led by TomTom, or not really this time, because the other one was not a restart but the race start. And we're just waiting here for everything to clear up, and then we are ready to race again. A few bucks from Bina there, but switching up to the front. Top Tom is leading onto the restart, giving it full throttle now. Maybe a bit late in my opinion. Could have went for it earlier in the corner, but still massively quicker than Patrick Cypers there. Just no. I think Bina making best out of it. I'm actually not sure who is the one defending, but I think Rainbow was the one in front. Bina just made the overtake stick, and Daniel Valley and Pitchko are already fighting for position number 6. Not really cleared up, Daniel, but also in a bit put in a bit of a tricky situation from his team colleague there, from Dyslexic. Who makes a lot of pressure now, and Daniel kind of can't really stick to Pitchko. Kind of lost the connection. And now we see another battle going on. I think here exactly between the Williams of Mighty Dylan and Julian in the Haas. We've seen something from this battle already. No, it's Mighty Dylan and Polyakov. Julian's still in front. Polyakov goes down the inside, and can he make this one stick? Around the right-hander, 180-degree turn. Of course, he has a longer way now, going around this turn. But as long as he can make put himself into this turn, oh, whoa! That was a good move from Polyakov there. Put himself into a very good position, even though taking the inside, this lower line into this turn. He could make it stick. Impressive move there. And now everything's kind of lined up again for the guys here. And we're just waiting for some action to happen again, and the Julian is getting close to the racing point of Dyslexic a bit. Time's changing. The times are changing a lot, especially in those twisty sections. Can't really tell whether someone's really getting closer or not. But there goes Polyakov again against Julian now. Down the inside of the hairpin, turn number 11, if I remember correctly. And, well, no, that's enough for a wheel-to-wheel battle. But you maybe can use the slipstream to make it stick around the next turn, number 12. Another very sharp turn, but it's way more possible to take too wide than the hairpin number 12. Yeah, number 11. But right here, Julian make it stick, but Polyakov again with the same move as before, going down the inside of turn number 14 and 15, I think it is. No, it's 15 and 16. Making it stick. And Cypers now in attack mode, setting the fastest lap of the race. I'm just checking if it's still raining. Yes, it is. Because that can change up a lot. Dave getting another position against the Mighty Dylan, and already looking for Julian as the next one. But of course, Dylan doesn't want that to happen, and tries to move against him, but I think he just missed his braking point or something, because he went very wide there until Lucha got past him. So therefore the two Alfa Romeos now at the back of Dave are waiting for their possibility to overtake, and Dyslexic still pretty close to the back of his team colleague. Polyakov also already closing in. Really, I think Polyakov would be a candidate already of drive of the day, because just the moves are insane. 2 times the same move down a very tricky corner, where you have to brake while you steer, a bit similar to the known corner in Bahrain before the DRS straight. It's something like 7 or some. I'm not even sure about that. Where we see, oh, and that was already Polyakov. There we see his front wing trying the same move again as last time, and well, that didn't really go as intended, but still a bit to battle. But meanwhile, we're seeing Dave really close to Julian. Now it's able to attack. Of course, Till is also making pressure from behind, but maybe Dave can make this stick and get into the points. Of course, then there's still Lucia and Till, who are both very quick drivers and who both wants to get past Dave to fight out further at the front for the best positions. But at the moment, there's not really much room for that. And well, that keeps an interesting battle, especially between Till and Dave. Also a battle between the Racing Points and of course Polyakov, who isn't that close at the moment, will still be interesting. Because Flax is already getting really close again down the straight, now losing a lot of time into the braking zone, but it doesn't really look like he'll make it sick, but either does it with Dave. Well, or do you have to revert what I just said again? No, there's not, unfortunately not much happening. Well, I don't want to say not much because those guys are racing really insanely well through the rain and making a great job keeping the battle up, keeping so close together. We hear a train of 2, 4, 6 cars, or even more. It's actually 7 even, I think, with Daniel Valle in front. And well, they're just racing insanely close, and here we see Flaxig taking a bit of a look, but it's still not enough. He's still not close enough to make that overtake stick. But either Dave or Till, or Polyakov and Julian. Polyakov now got closer again to Flaxig, but it still isn't the best possible. There's still a bit to improve. And there still needs to be a bit of improvement onto your own times there, or you won't get past. I mean, you can just save a bit ERS, but especially in the rain, well, we don't need really to talk much about ERS, because in the rain, gaining ERS is so much easier. Because you're just regenerating much more ERS, because you're braking earlier, you're just coasting a lot more around the corners, especially because you can't go that quick onto the accelerator, and therefore this takes a lot of time. And there, I think, look like a bit of side-by-side action, and but there's still not really much of overtaking up. But we see that Polyakov just went way later on the brakes available, therefore this exit wasn't that good. So he's braking very late for the turns, but in the end gets the worst exit. And now we've got those 3 there. Maybe a bit of a switch up there. Will there be a possibility for Polyakov or Dyslexic? Polyakov takes a look around the outside, but no, he can't make it stick at all. It was just wheel to wheel with his front wheels to Dyslexic's rear wheels, but there wasn't really much of an opportunity yet, so there has to be still something to happen. Those guys still are not that's not the comfortable position. They all want to switch that up a bit. They of course all want to have a few more positions, especially Lucho there, sitting in the back of the whole train, just waiting to get past it all. And there goes Polyakov alongside Dyslexic, trying that move down the straight between turn 11 and 12, or maybe he can make it stick this time, as we've seen it doing 2 times already, or maybe even earlier this time, because he's nearly already in front, but no, not yet. Oh, bit of a harsh touch there, and nearly takes Dave with him, and therefore the heart of Julian is struggling a bit with Till and Lucho. We're actually not changing positions, while they're still fighting. Cypher's heading into the pits, and Polyakov is too. That's maybe an advantage if you went for the pit stop under the safety car. But of course those guys out there on the intermediates who went under the safety car can't drive till the end if it keeps raining. Except they're doing it Lewis Hamilton style. If the rain stops and they're just using the no profile wet tires for the rain. These two Alfa Romeos are so close together that there has to happen something very, very soon, or else see some of them collide into the rain. Because it's still so difficult to make an overtake stick around here, and well, we see Dyslexic getting close to Daniel Valley every lap, but Daniel kind of somehow still manages to get out on top. There we are at another attempt from Dyslexic. 2 times round the outside of the turns, but it doesn't really work. Maybe he needs to copy the strategy of Polyakov, who dropped a bit further behind now. And there we see, for example, Patrick Saipos going through the grid again, hopefully. Yeah, there he goes, alongside Lucho, already passed into the second to last turn. That's how an overtake should work. And just looking, oh exactly, Daniel Valley went into the pits, therefore no battling between Dyslexic and Daniel Valley anymore for today. Top Tom also was in the pits, gets out in front, but just ahead of Dyslexic. So Top Tom just stays net leader. Even after the safety car, even after the pit stops, even though Dyslexic does need another pit stop, and Dave does as well, and Julian as well, and Till as well. So he's still very much ahead of Patrick Cypers. That's it at the moment. I mean, Getound is now also further back. Cyphers managing another overtake against Till, team colleague of Lucho. Still in front now. Those 2 Alfa Romeos aren't really getting their stuff done today. Those 2 are just fighting for today. But and there goes Patrick Sappos, already got past Julian, so really bombing through the grid here, gaining 1 place after another, really quick. Next one up is Dave. There's not much happening everywhere else. Maybe get it and just trying an overtake against Lucho. No, not really. Already dropping a bit back. There goes Dyslexic into the pits, as well as Rainbow.
So we have Tom still in the lead, Dave in second. Wouldn't say net second, but well, Pitchko definitely needs another pit stop. Dave, well, I don't think he can make it until the end because that would need over 20 laps on the intermediate tire. While that's somehow possible, I don't think he should do that. Not on those tires. There goes Cyphers getting himself back into net P2. And we kind of got ourselves reordered now. Well, my big problem is Gedund, who still needs to sort himself out. Still needs to do some overtakes, but the thing is, he already got one of his contestants in the championship, that's Lucho. Well, he also got already Daniel Valle, so basically he's in front again, leading the pack. And at the moment, he I think needs 10 points more, or at least 11 points to get past Daniel Valle in the championship, exactly. And then he would lead into the last race, but it's still, everything's possible for all of the guys. Well, depends where everyone's finishing. We can tell you more about that at the end. But for now, we'll have to see. And there goes Gedund against Julian, which is way more confident into the turn. Sorry, the hot brakes from Julian there, but well, they're doing pretty cool with Gedund. And so far in net P5, I think, yes, exactly, while Till and Dave would probably still need a pit stop, so he should be in that P3. Rainbow just made it. No, not again. Not a bit. Oh, wait. Oh no, not again. Wow. We just got another bug. Another migrating host, or is it just me who was thrown out of the session? Well, that went good today. I'm just taking a quick look if that was my internet or if that was oh no. No, that was the lobby crashing. And I think I'm not sure what we're about to do now, because we're now like a three over the half of the race in, and we got a really nice evening today with bugs. We're just we're basically at the we're basically at the quality control here for Codemasters. No, just kidding. I don't know how this game can be full with that much bugs. I mean, we know the migrating host issue, I think, from last year's game, and well, I've never seen something like that happen in this game, at least. Don't know if there were already issues like that. Same with the first issue we had. And yeah, I think that unfortunately that is it for today. Because we will not be re-hosting the race today. I think most of the guys don't really have either time or they just do not want to have another go at the race, because trying to start a race for the third time is not really a thing you're aiming for. But yeah, exactly. So this race is about to be postponed for, I think, I'm not sure, to next week or to just in 2 weeks. But there will be news, of course, when the next GP is coming up, or not especially the next, but the American GP. And then we'll start over again with another qualifying and a race afterwards, which will hopefully work as it did the last few GPs. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. Unfortunately, we can't really see a complete race. We were just here sitting after half of a race, which doesn't even count into the championship. I'll hope you'll join us next time, either in 1 or 2 weeks. And yeah, thank you though for watching the stream. In the meantime, I think you can go into the F1 stream, at least into the Russian one. I think the English one is lagging a bit. Maybe there's a bit more action happening at the moment than with us, because of the game making problems again. And well, no, actually neither do they have more action to see today, because the stream also already finished. And yeah, the points will not count. We are postponing the race, so we'll be restarting the race, I think, next week or in 2 weeks. I'm not sure if we're racing next week because Christmas, so could possibly also be in just 2 weeks. And sorry, mic cut out there for a second. And this race will be held in 2 weeks then, or in 1 or 2 weeks, and we'll be seeing the guys that race there again for the points for finally the championship then. And yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it though. We had a lot of fighting though into the half of the race, and well, I hope you switch on next time we're live. And well, then enjoy your night. Have a good one. Take a look at the ORL Discord or the other ORL videos. If you just want some more race content, just switch into one of the older videos and get yourself some nice action into your onto your screen. And have a good night, everyone. We'll see you again.